Good morning, good morning. Another wonderful Thursday morning here in Gauteng. It's freezing cold. It was 4 degrees this morning when I took my daughter to school. But here we are to have another fantastic session. And it's all about going from the sidewalks to skywalks. What's that all about? I wonder. Well, we've got Jeffrey here today from Seamless Travel, and he's going to be telling us his journey from the sidewalks of Mamelodi to the skywalks of the globe itself. So, welcome to all of you. And I'd like to just introduce our co-hosts. Welcome, Mana. Welcome, Glenn. Welcome, Wilhelm. Welcome, Russell, to the show. And thanks for being here today. So the format of our Vision 2025 today is about sharing a successful journey, successful business in South Africa. And that's what it's all about. So what we will be doing is we've got an interview, and we're going to interview Jeffrey, and each one of the co-hosts will interview Jeffrey based on their speciality and their skill base. So let's quickly ask each of the co-hosts to introduce themselves. Mona, would you like to start?
I found the button today quickly. I'm Marna. I'm from a company called Inscorp Insurance Brokers, and we do short-term insurance. We like to say that we keep you covered, and we've got you covered. And our insurance goes from port to port. So from when you order your raw material from wherever in the world onto the ship until it gets to South Africa's harbour. And then from there, we put it on a truck to your factory, and from your factory to your client's front door. And then we also like to keep your coffee machine while you relax at home. So we cover that as well, your home and your contents. And that's me in a nutshell.
Thank you, Mona. Welcome to the show. Let's go to Glenn. Glenn, would you like to introduce yourself?
Great stuff. Thank you very much. Great to be on the show again. Really amazing to do this. And thank you, David, for instigating this from the start. Great to have Jeffrey on board. I know this man, and we've done some business together as well, so really looking forward to it. So yes, my name is Glenn East-Jones. I'm a life and business coach. The name of the business is Mentors Coaching, and I like to call myself a personal locksmith because I love to actually unlock the potential inside of people and actually help them step into destiny. So that's me. Thank you very much, David. Back to you.
Fantastic. Thank you, Glenn. Welcome to the show. Wilhelm, would you like to introduce yourself?
Good morning, everybody, and thank you for the opportunity to be on the show. Yes, my name is Wilhelm Lombard, and I'm a life energy coach, or a life quality. Quality of life is quite important for me. We need energy to do whatever we want to do, and I help businesses to get their people aligned with the vision of the business. So vision alignment, vision boarding, and all those type of things are things that interest me and how I help people. And that's me. And I'm looking forward to what Jeffrey has to say to us today.
Fantastic. Welcome, Wilhelm. Thank you for joining us. Russell, great to see you here again. Please come and introduce yourself.
Morning, everyone. Morning, David. Thank you for the opportunity. I don't think I've met you, Jeffrey, so I'm very excited to hear what you are busy with. Specifically, if I'm reading correctly between the lines, I think it's probably going to be something I'm going to need in the future. I wear multiple hats. I just want to focus on 2 hats this morning for time's sake, and that is one, I do sales masterclass. You can't go to university and study how to do sales. And a lot of people say you're born a salesman. I tend to disagree. I think you can teach people how to sell, because all you need to teach them is the techniques, understanding the psychology behind sales, and understanding the client, and the client's reactions to your leading questions and so forth. So I believe anybody with the right tool set can sell and can become a very, very successful salesperson. The other hat that I wear, and I'm using this specifically because you mentioned that you come from the sidewalks of Mamelodi, is I'm also a director on a non-profit called CTAP. It stands for Community Transformation Accelerator Program, where we go into the communities and we develop the SMEs to create an ecosystem within the communities, economical ecosystem, And we do believe that if we go on the grassroots level, where the majority of our people are, and we develop that and make that a strong economical center, it can support and grow the South African economy. So in a nutshell, those are the two things that I would like to highlight here.
Fantastic, Russell. Great. Thank you for being here. So a little bit about myself. I'm David Bauer. We started Vision 2025 last year, beginning of last year. And the whole idea of Vision 2025 was to basically give back to society and to help people get to understand how business actually works, and to actually get people to work smarter in business. So we have basically 4 aspects. On the first Thursday of the month, we do networking. Second, we basically interview a successful businessman and learn what they've done to be successful, and that's what we're doing today. The third week, we go along and find innovative solutions, new things, new products that are available in South Africa. And the last Thursday of the month is about business acumen, how to be smarter in business. So welcome to the show. Great to be here. But enough about us. Let's introduce Jeffrey. Jeffrey, I actually met Jeffrey through Glenn. Glenn introduced me to Jeffrey, and Jeffrey and I have done some business, which is absolutely something absolutely amazing, and I'm sure Jeffrey's going to talk about it. But I'm going to ask Glenn to actually go and interview Jeffrey about his past, where it comes from, the sidewalks of Mamelodi. Glenn, over to you.
Thanks so much, David. And sorry, the signal is a little bit bad this side, so I keep on disappearing. But let's see how this goes. Jeffrey, great to chat to you again. Great to see you again. And I know this man is a real go-getter. Love his spirit. He's a really great man. Jeffrey, I always saw you as an entrepreneur. And the interesting thing is you started selling vegetables at the age of 10, which is quite fascinating. I want you to tell us, what did that chapter actually teach you about the hustle? You know, the hustle. You know what I understand when I talk about the hustle, right? And the human connection around that.
So correct. It was actually my father's business, and it's a street side kind of set up next to a shopping complex. And I was actually not aware what it takes to, chase a sale and to compete for a sale and to, just grab someone out of nowhere and say, hey, would you like this packet of tomatoes? It's less than that, guys.
Amazing.
So, just being in that environment and kind of brushing off whatever idea you thought about being polite and, just understanding the concept of I need to get this person to buy this is really what shaped a lot of who I am now and my ideas around selling and interpersonal connections with people and building that and building relationships and understanding product and so forth. Yeah,
absolutely good foundation to work from. Fantastic, man. Okay.
Yeah,
you founded Apple Pie magazine at the age of 18. How did that actually shape your entrepreneurial identity?
So I read a book around that age when I just started getting fascinated with the world of business. It's a book by Richard Branson called Losing My Virginity. And in that book, he talks about kind of student rights and conversations among students and understanding the plight of the student. There's a lot of issues that were going on in the British youth around that time. There was a lot of things going on around the world, and he was basically trying to create some kind of insight and a platform for young people to talk and create their own awareness around their own issues. And that inspired me to start my own magazine. It was an online magazine because we saw where the world was going at that time. That's when Facebook was coming out, and it had come out probably a few years before that. And we didn't obviously imagine it would grow to be what it is now. But we understood what Mark Zuckerberg was doing, and we understood what Richard Branson was doing. And me and my friends decided to, let's just try this and see how it goes. Let's see if we can actually grow this into a business. Yeah, and at the age of 18, that's the first company I ever registered.
Wow, that's amazing. Quite incredible. Okay. Speaking of Richard Branson and that particular book, the student magazine, what was there something specific around that really struck a chord with you at that point in time?
Yes, just the idea of starting something from scratch. He was a student at the time. He was in school, and he's dyslexic. I don't know if a lot of people know that, but
Yes,
Richard Branson
yes,
is
correct.
dyslexic, and he
Quite
was
correct.
struggling to focus on a lot of matters in school, and he was struggling to focus on the numbers and the words. But he just realized that he could add value somewhere else, and I think he was able to identify that he could create value in doing the student magazine, and it'll help him communicate with his peers properly and just kind of put him in a place where he's not dependent on the school sports. I think he had injured himself, so he wasn't competitive in the school sports as well.
Yes.
So I think that was just the aspect that he tried to create within his environment of starting something from scratch and creating value for other people and for himself, obviously.
Fantastic, man. That's great. Okay, let's move to seamless travel a bit. And I must admit, you probably travel to places that I've probably not even heard of. But when you with these travel experiences, I mean, what is it that really ignites in your spirit around this? You know, what do those early travel experiences really ignite for you?
Just understanding different cultures, different environments, and different people. I think one of the most recent trips that I had done was a trip to India, and it just that environment in itself kind of changes your perspective on so much. The gap between the rich and the poor, the cheap labor, the food, the culture. I mean, they are a very proud nation. They love jewelry. They love their own clothes, and I mean, they don't eat beef. So there's like chicken burgers and wings in the McDonald's. So that's something that's very interesting to see, that other people have different ways of doing things that kind of adapt to their environment and their beliefs. And I think if you're stuck in one world for too long, that's something that does pass by. You fail to understand that different people have different perspectives, they celebrate different things, they've got different cultures, different foods, and they just have a different way of living. So that is something that I appreciate the most about traveling, just encountering different people, different cultures, different experiences. And I mean, that's valid in business as well. I mean, the Indians do business in a very different way from a lot of how South Africa does business. um a South African business is very polite. You sit down, you have a coffee, you discuss a deal. Where Indians, it's really street side hustle, kind of, that township culture of I've got the cheaper
Sure.
tomatoes, come buy from me.
Absolutely. That's
Yeah,
fantastic. And I must admit, in the travels that I've done as well, that certainly comes out. And just the different cultures is really fascinating. It's absolutely so
yeah,
amazing. Okay,
yeah.
for me, it's all about purpose. And I want you to tell us, what was that defining moment when you knew that this road ahead, this seamless travel road, was
Mhm.
your path? What was that defining moment?
It came both as circumstance and opportunity at the same time. So I had been working for a big multinational travel agency. I mean, they are still quite huge at the time, and I think it was just, like I said, different perspectives at the time of how this thing should go, and the opportunity of one of the key aspects that we have, or that we take advantage of at Seamless Travel, is the visa situation. And the South African passport is a bit tricky to move around the world with. It's an administratively demanding process to apply for a visa. And we saw the opportunity in that. And the circumstance of having differences with the current employer, myself and my business partners just decided to go ahead and do this thing on our own. And it's worked out. It's working out quite well.
Absolutely. Fantastic. Wonderful. No, thank you very much, Jeffrey. Appreciate that. David, back to you.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Glenn. Great questions there from Glenn. And thanks, Jeffrey.
Thank you,
Wow,
Glenn.
I love this, what you were saying. Let's hand over to Mana, who's going to be asking Jeffrey about the present. And Mana's a business person. She's been in business for 13 years and established businesswoman in South Africa. So the right person to ask Jeffrey about his business right now, building the brand, the decisions, the growth, and the momentum. Over to you, Mana.
Hi, Jeffrey. I've been very excited to have you on our show this morning. I think you've
Thank you, Nona.
answered one of my questions, but I want to actually elaborate on that. Apart from the visas, your story is very much the same as mine, coming from a corporate and starting your own business. But apart from the visas, the opening that you saw there, is there any other gaps that you identified coming from a corporate world and starting your own business that you could solve as a small business owner?
The gaps that we have in our industry is definitely the skills deficit and the skills transfer. When you work for a corporate, the metrics to apply for the job and to be qualified for the job is quite high, and it's very difficult for young people coming out of school and coming out of various other environments to get into the travel industry. So one of the gaps that we have, apart from the visa, is to be able to give younger people the skills that we have and to kind of bridge the gap in that skills transfer, the knowledge that we have, the expertise that we have, to give it to the younger people. They've got more energy, they've got a little bit more creativity, they're a bit more tapped into some of the technologies. So just providing that environment and creating a culture of sales and understanding travel for the young people, that's one of the gaps that we're exploiting right now at Seamless. And it's something that's working very well. It does come with these headaches because young people are young people. And they do young people stuff
today.
Yes, I'm just creating a work culture in itself is quite a challenge, because you need to train constantly. You need to teach them how to respond to emails and talk to people properly and follow somewhat of a sales script, and just expose them to the working world. It has its disadvantages, but it has its advantages as well. And coming from a corporate environment, that's definitely something that not a lot of corporates do. So we take it upon ourselves to just get the young people fresh out of school or from a similar environment, put them in travel and give them the skills that we know and the expertise that we know. And hopefully they'll be able to grow in the business with us.
Yeah, talking about that, I don't know if you found the same, is that sometimes you would find the perfect young person and you would train this person, and how do you make them to stay? How do you keep those gems to stay and not move on to the corporate world?
It's very funny because that was a bit of a challenge when we started. It wasn't a bit of a challenge. It was quite a huge challenge when we started. Because young people can just up and go, and you've invested so much in them and you taught them so much. And there was a period where we had like a great exodus where a number of staff were just like, oh, I can't do this. This is too much. I need to leave. But we've slowly started to understand the importance of creating culture in the office. Where you communicate the company objectives and you communicate the goals and you communicate what needs to be done at what time and constantly encourage them and recognize them when they do good. And that is playing very well to the tune of our music. Just basically creating that work culture of recognition, the work culture of identifying goals and chasing after goals together, because especially in the sales environment, we are very much goal driven. And when you constantly kind of dangle the carrot in their eyes, they really do kind of say, you know what, forget everything else. This is what we're going to go for. This is what we're going to do. And they're going to be locked in. Currently, we're seeing them. They are locked into a lot better than our experiences in the past. Well, I
also found, you put all this effort into the young people and then the bigger companies come and they snatch them from you. So that goes into my next question. The younger guys comes in with more technical abilities than the older people of us. And I'm sure that helps in your business too. So in today's digital driven travel industry, how do you balance the technical side and the human side, that human contact with your clients? Did you find a balance and how to balance it too?
Well, I think that is an ongoing process. I mean, the introduction of AI to any work environment, I feel right now is quite crucial. I think AI really is the new internet in my view, and understanding the importance of that and the integration of that with the human aspect of doing business is very important. It's an ongoing process. I mean, we've got a few tricks of the trade and how we use AI in the business to make sure that our clients feel that their best interests are being taken care of by our consultants. But the human aspect really is very important as well. I think we can't reiterate that enough. The aspect of being accountable for bookings, because if you book online and something happens and you didn't see your email, that online platform is going to say, but we showed you the email. But when you book with travel agents, I mean, someone's going to call you, someone's going to make sure that you saw maybe a time change on your flight, or that you are aware of the season of travel, that it is going to be rainy. And I mean, that clarity and communication really goes a long way, because we are booking for people, we're not booking for robots. So it is an ongoing process, because technology does get better and does change almost frequently. And the human aspect of the business is challenged to just continue developing and growing and staying abreast of technology and remaining human as well.
Yeah. I wonder if you can tell me more, because I know you started with the eSIM as well. Yours is called, I think, Seamless eSIM.
Yes.
How does this innovation simplify the travel for your clients? Does it make it better for them?
So for us, it's very interesting, because this is a problem that I've had in my own travels. I've landed in the middle of New Delhi, or I've landed in the middle of Rome, and an interesting story, if I can share. The first time I went out of the country, I was in Rome, and our luggage was lost. And the person that's hosting us in this country, I mean, he was like, where are these people? We were busy waiting for our luggage, and we just had no idea where it is. And I think had we had an eSIM at that time, we would have been able to communicate with the guy that's hosting us in that country to say, hey, by the way, we're still in the airport, we're still by the baggage carousel, and we just don't know where our bags were. And I think he would have been able to tell us, no, go to the luggage counter, check if they've actually arrived. If not, fill in the form, tell them that the bags are lost or whatever. So the guy waited for 2 hours for us at the arrival terminal, and everything is in Italian, and the people are speaking Italian, and we were just like, where do we start? What do we do? Where's our luggage? So I think the importance of that, and I think in this business as well, we've had instances where we're traveling and we're in another country and we're just outside of the hotel or outside of a restaurant, so we're not connected to the office, or we're not connected to our clients, and it does create a little bit of uncertainty with maybe some bookings or maybe something that had to be done at the office. So just the importance of staying connected, especially when you're traveling, is something that would be of advantage to our clients. And I think it's something that's important, that we can just communicate to our clients as well.
Yeah, I think going to a country not knowing where you are and where you're going, it must be quite daunting. Why Rome? I'm a woman. I need to know. Why was Rome your first big destination? I need to know.
I'm Catholic. So it was I'm Catholic. So it was part of I'm a very proud member of a Catholic organization called the Community of Sant'Egidio, and it's a non-profit organization that works around the world. It helps, like migrants when they are in a new country and they are stranded, and kind of holds them, welcomes them, if I can say so, in a peaceful way in their countries. There's a lot of orphaned children around the world, in South Africa and Uganda, around the world, that the community does help and kind of educate the kids and visit the elderly, visit the prisoners, that kind of stuff. So I'm a member of that community, and the home of that community is in Rome. So I ended up in Rome being invited to visit the community, and that was my first international trip.
I think I see a cup of coffee coming up. I want to know more about this, but let's go back to business. So many small businesses battles to grow beyond just one outlet. How did you? What did you do to scale seamless travel to more than just one outlet? And how many do you have?
Well, we currently have 2 outlets, but 3 offices technically. We've got 2 retail outlets, and we have a corporate office as well, and a visa desk that's growing. So the importance of scaling, I think it's just something that has kept creeping up because the opportunity is just in our eyes all the time. The average South African is not so well exposed to travel, and what we want to do is just to be as close as possible to as many people that don't know how easy it is to travel. I mean, if especially from the visa aspect of things, if you just have all your documents talking correctly, it's quite easy to get a visa, and you would then have the opportunity to go to the US, go to the UK, go to Europe, go to China, go wherever that you need to go. Explore the world, do business, have leisure time, enjoy time with your family. And for a lot of people, it does seem quite far-fetched. So the opportunity is more what we're chasing for, and not necessarily the importance of scaling. But I think scaling comes as a result of trying to get that opportunity to reach the people and be close to the people as possible.
Yeah, I suppose with the way technology changed, it makes it so much easier not to have like an outlet in every single center. Yeah, thank you so much for that. Can I transfer you back to David?
Thanks so much, Marna. Great questions there. Thanks, Jeffrey. I love the share about home. I mean, that's phenomenal. I also like to learn a little bit more about that. But let's now go to the future. Wilhelm Lombard, Wilhelm focuses on vision boarding, something that's critical. And I've done Wilhelm's vision boarding workshop, and it's something about the future. And I'm going to ask Wilhelm to ask you about your future, where you see seamless travel going, and where you see yourself in the next 5 years. So Wilhelm, over to you. Please go take it away.
Thank you, David. Yes, first I want to say I enjoy, Jeffrey, your energy. I can feel that you are really excited about what you are doing. So yeah, and when we think about the vision and vision boarding, I can tell you one of the things that almost everybody put on their vision board is travel. They want to go places. It's always part of people's vision. So I love that, and you can help us all to go where we want to go and what we have on the horizon for ourselves now, our bucket lists and all those things. Yeah. Now my question is, where do you see the travel industry heading in the next 5 to 10 years, especially in Africa?
Africa is a very difficult landscape. It's not like most of Europe or most of Asia, where the travel infrastructure is so easy to use. The train systems are quite well developed in the Western world. And in Asia, it's very interpersonal. There's tuk-tuks, there's a whole bunch of ways to get around, and there's a lot of trust as well. So you trust that the 8 o'clock train is going to leave at 8 o'clock, and you trust that this guy is going to take me to the right place when I jump on the back of this tuk-tuk. So the travel environment does depend a lot on trust. And I think a lot more people are going to lean more towards trusted brands and trusted companies and trusted organizations, especially in the travel space. And it's so much more easier to trust humans than to trust a website. So I really do feel that the travel environment is still gonna grow a lot more in the human aspect of it. And that's why at Seamless, we are focused a lot on creating retail outlets where people can walk into the store. And if you're unhappy about your trip, you just create a movie in the store, and the consultant will be able to calm you down and make sure that your trip goes well. Which is something that you don't have access to when you're dealing with someone online that you've never met, or when you're dealing with a website and you just find out that this website is actually based in Portugal, and now you need to call a Portuguese number to sort out your flight, and you get to the hotel and the accommodation, there's no reservation under your name, and you need to now find out what's going on this and that website. So it is leaning more towards the trust aspect of the engagement. And like I said, Africa still has a huge opportunity because of the local domestic infrastructure has so much to grow and so much to develop. And just Africa in general is a fairly young population. The African population is quite young, and a lot of Africans don't have the opportunity to travel, and they're not exposed to the outside world, apart from their village or their township. So the opportunity there is actually still quite huge. And if we can push, and if we get the opportunity to push more into Africa and creating these retail outlets into the continent, I think it's something that would benefit us and benefit the continent at large.
Yes, I think Africa is such a beautiful continent. So work on that, and I would love to go more into Africa myself. The next question that I want to ask you is you sort of touch on that, but how do you think AI and mobile first platforms like the seamless eSIM change the traveling experience in the long term? How will it change it?
Look, AI is still I think there's still a lot of opportunity that we can use to exploit the benefits of AI. It's an ongoing thing. There's still a lot of discovery that has to go. There's so many different platforms. It helps us also just kind of curate experiences. So travel experiences are very kind of personal. So Marna was talking about how she would like to go to Rome, or how she's interested in Rome. And the importance of AI in instances like that is that as travel agents, we don't go everywhere in the world. So your travel agent has probably not been to Rodeo Drive in LA, so they wouldn't know what's the best restaurant to go to when they are shopping on Rodeo Drive. So the importance of AI comes into creating that insight for our agents, and kind of like understanding when's the best time to go to a specific place, when the demand is high, when the demand is low, and creating that. We use a lot of, in the AI world, they call LLMs. So that's a learning language module, and it will learn from different kind of research that's done on the internet and different platforms. And it will talk to our consultants to say that maybe on the first day, our customer can go there, and on the second day, they can do that. And on the third day, they can use the spa, and on the fourth day. So it makes the conversation between our consultants and their customer much easier. They kind of travel the world without having to travel the world, and they create that kind of expertise. And the next time someone comes with a trip to LA, then they'll specifically know that the Burger King on Rodeo Drive is normally busy from 7 to 10, so rather go to like the McDonald's or whatever.
Wow, it really sounds exciting, I must say.
Yeah.
The next thing, what's your vision for seamless travel in the next evolution? New markets, new tech, like seamless eSIM, and new audiences. What's your vision for seamless travel?
Well, with the eSIM, fundamentally, we need connectivity is number one. So it is very important to stay connected, whichever part of the world you are. And I mean, we don't go to branches to do our banking as much as we did probably 10 years, 20 years ago. So if you're in a foreign country and you need to transact and you need to move money from this account to the account that has your card now, because not all environments have your Apple Pays and your Google Pays available, and you need physical cards and stuff like that. So just the ease of transaction that can be created from being connected is a huge advantage that we see would be a huge advantage also going in the future. And just my vision, I think it's just growth to create as much retail presence as possible. So whenever you're going to Pick n Pay to get your bread and milk, you should be able to see like a flight special to Paris, and then just realize that, I really, really do want to go to Paris. So let me walk in here and see how easy it would be. or how cost effective it would be. What cost effective package can I get to go to Paris? And then you would meet one of our consultants that will talk you, obviously, firstly through the visa process and creating the paperwork and creating your appointments and dealing with the embassies the best way possible. So definitely growth in the leisure space, but growth in the retail space as well. We do support a number of clients that are in mining and construction and entertainment, and they travel quite frequently. So being able to grow that kind of business and create relationships in those spaces would be important for our growth. And that's where I see us being in the next 5-10 years, just being a dominant figure in the corporate space, as well as creating that retail presence that is so important to the everyday person.
Wow. Thank you for that. Yes, my last question, how do you align your personal growth with your business vision, and what keeps you grounded?
My personal growth, I think just in any business, when you started from the ground up, there's a lot of personal growth that you obtain. Just the importance of planning, the importance of punctuality, the importance of leading a team and understanding the difference between leadership and management, being able to work as a manager and work as a leader. That has helped me a lot. I've grown a lot in those aspects. I'm a very easygoing guy. So there are instances where I've had to be stern with a lot of our team and just get them to lock into a certain goal and a certain objective that I didn't think I had in the past. So that my personal growth has grown a lot, and just the constant understanding and the constant learning and the constant research that you obtain or that you seek in order to grow personally really does benefit your business as well. What keeps me grounded is my family. I'm a dad, I'm a husband, and I think going home to my screaming kids helps me unwind, and it helps keep me grounded rather. And I don't think I could live life any other way. I think it's very important for us, for people to understand the importance of those connections, those family connections, those home connections, because they also help give purpose and they help keep our feet on the ground, because the business environment can be quite competitive and it can be quite aggressive. And you don't want to be that person every day, all day. You know, the human aspect is very important. And just to grow your business as well and give it the human face, I think my family has helped with that a lot.
Thank you very much. Powerful answers that you've given us. And yes, I love the fact that your family is important, that you stay balanced. You know, that's why people often burn out, because they are so focused on building their businesses and all those things. But you need that balance in life, and stay grounded. Thank you very much, Jeffrey. I appreciate your answers. Over to you, David.
Wow, thank you so much, Willem. Great questions there. And now let's pass on to Russell. Russell's also in sales, and Jeffrey, you're the sales director of Seamless Travel, so I think a good fit there. So Russell, I'm going to hand over to you and ask you to just ask, how did Jeffrey do it? How did he actually achieve the success that he's achieved from Sidewalks to Skywalks? Over to you, Russell.
Thank you, David. I just want to make a comment, if I may. Being in sales, I think it's quite interesting that your father chose a spot next to a mall to sell vegetables. You know, that is
quite the visionary, hey?
There's so many feet walking past, so that's ingenious. I love it. You know,
Yeah.
It's great how business people are so scared to go into an area because there's so much competition. Yet that is where you should go in, because you should go make a difference, be different than the competition. So I love that. And then a kudo to you. I want to lift my hat to you. I love the fact that at a very, very young age, you were already seeing future trends, and you were already designing opportunity in those future trends. And I think that's for the listeners who are thinking about doing a business or are in a new business. That is so important. Is look around you. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. There's just so many opportunities. Because people are already doing things that you can actually latch onto.
Yes.
There's so much intellectual property out there that's available to us. And I think without you even knowing it, that's what you've done. So well done. I love that. Specifically coming from where you do, it wasn't easy. And because I work in communities and I've been working in communities for a long time, I know how difficult it is to be of previously disadvantaged people wanting to make a break. So, that's what makes this country beautiful, is that we can all have those breaks. So well done for that. My question, and that's why I wanted to put that down as a bit of a foundation, Jeffrey, is we as business people have certain traits, but I think very importantly, we also have certain routines that we do to be successful. So in my example is my wife and myself go and exercise early in the morning just to ground our day, just to start our day. And that puts you into a momentum. So what keeps your momentum? What traits and specifically routines do you have?
Well, that morning workout is very critical. I think there have been times in my environment where I feel like my head was about to explode, and just being able to jog it off in the morning or lift some weights has helped tremendously. We have a morning routine kind of culture in store with our teams. There's training that happens. We kind of send out a KPI weekly, and we communicate the numbers. So we recognize the importance of each person's contribution to the team, and that helps keep them grounded, and it helps also keep them focused on the goal. So us being able to look at those analytics also on a frequent basis and communicate with the team really does help the business. From a personal perspective, an early night is important. I think sometimes we undervalue the importance of sleep. I have early nights and early mornings, so I'll be up at like 4 a.m. and doing whatever I need to do. Then I'll from there go to the gym. I think the importance that we have to communicate also is the importance of consistency. So going to the gym consistently also creates that psychology to say that this is something that I've committed to, and this is just going to be something that's a part of my lifestyle as well. So that morning routine is important, and it does really help structure the business. The morning meetings that we have with the team, discussing the numbers. Our teams send us their KPIs. By 9 o'clock every morning. So we know exactly which team, how many inquiries have come in, the conversion rate per store. We know how much turnover has come into the business, and how much we're making from each deal. And that's something that's really kind of communicated daily within our stores and within the whole management team. Yeah,
I think that's important. I grew up in the motor industry with a very big organization that had over 284 branches countrywide, and that was every single morning we would send our figures through, and we had to define where our success was or where we lacked. As a very young branch manager, that was quite challenging for me because I didn't have the business background that my colleagues had that have been branch managers for many years. So I love that because it does give you direction. Cool. My next question is, it's so good. 2 days ago, I was listening to another Black South African entrepreneur. I forget his surname, but his name is Vusi. And he was talking about investing into people, into businesses. And he says he will not invest into a business person who has not failed. And I think that is so, because failure teaches you. Failure is where you grow. So what is the hardest lesson that you had to learn in business?
Whoa, the importance of understand. That's a good question. Because we're not always open about our failures. But I think this is not the first business that I've been a part of. And I've been a part of a number of businesses. I used to also have a kind of corporate identity kind of design business as well. And I used to have an events company as well. And with the failure of that business, we understand there's a lesson that comes into play every time. The importance of knowing the numbers of the business, the importance of training the people that are behind you to do the work so that you can focus on more strategic objectives. the importance of growing the business, because the business that's not growing is dying. And basically the importance of constant communication on new products. So I mean, there's a family restaurant that I also used to kind of help run and manage. And whenever we'd get a new deal or a new product that's in the line, I mean, the communication would go out quite quick, but the guys in the kitchen wouldn't know how to create this or what to do. And that constant communication within the organization is very important. That's one of the lessons that I've learned in the past, to just constantly be able to communicate a clear message throughout the company, and obviously the importance of growing as well. So being able to compare last month or the performance of the past 3 months versus what our objectives are. And I've been a part of businesses where that's kind of just like left to the whim. And obviously with seamless travel now, I've learned those lessons, and there's a lot of effort that goes into communication and understanding the importance of keeping clients happy, and reputation as well. Our brand, I mean, the travel industry in South Africa is quite competitive, but it also has a bad reputation. There's a lot of people that have kind of disappeared with people's money, and they don't have trips and that kind of stuff as well. So the importance of creating a good reputation has something that we've enforced throughout the organization, from the junior consultants to support staff and in management as well.
I think there's two key things that you're saying here that I would like to highlight in your journey of learning, lessons learned. One of the things that I do is reputation management. But what I've realized when I do the reputation management process is the importance of human capital investment. Your people are your agency. You know, it's not the building. Yes, you've got a beautiful brand and so on, but without people, and I think that's where a lot of business people do learn lessons, is by treating the people correctly, or building the people so that the business can grow. That's what I'm reading between the lines. That is probably part of what you've gone through. So once again, that's brilliant. For time's sake, because I've seen we're running out of time, I'm going to quickly add two of my questions into one. And I'm saying, I would like you to go back and to give advice to Jeffrey, the 18-year-old, or even the 17-year-old. That's just before you started everything that you did. And I would like you to give advice to yourself as to what would you do differently. And I know hindsight is perfect science. You know, it's all good to look backwards and say, yeah, but there's people listening, and there's people listening with 16, 17, 18-year-old children that might need to hear what you've got to say, coming from the townships. You know, it's easy for us white folk that have, you know, grown up with parents that were entrepreneurs and so on, but not so much in the communities. So that should be the focus. To those guys in the community, what would you tell yourself if you could?
I mean, being in travel, the importance of exposure is one thing that I would like to highlight myself. So a lot of young people don't like volunteer. I think they want to reap the benefits now of whatever they're doing. So my advice to my younger self would be to expose little Jeffrey to more environments and different environments, and try it out. Just like do it, because there's nothing that's gonna replace action. So just do it. And if you get it wrong, brush yourself off and do it again. Do it right. Take the lessons and keep it moving. Exposure and the importance of urgency and speed, I think, would be what I'd communicate to my younger self, to 18-year-old Jeff.
I think that would be a good lesson. It's the Edison way. You know, I didn't fail 100 times to make a light bulb. I learned how to do it, how not to do it 100 times. And I think that is the key message there. Brilliant. Love it. My last question is, and, you know, I think a lot of times we don't emphasize the importance of what a legacy is. And when I ask people, you know, what is the legacy you want to leave behind? They come with a whole lot of, and everybody's got his own idea. So what is Jeffrey's idea about the legacy he wants to leave behind, not just for seamless travel, but for Jeffrey, because although the two are so uniquely entwined, it's still two separate entities, and each one has got a role to play within the greater environment of South Africa economy. So what would the legacy be for you?
That's a great question, Russell. You're coming with the big ones, eh? You're coming
But
with
I
the
know
strong
you can
ones.
answer them.
Look, I think I've learned a lot from the importance of community and the importance of teams and the importance of vision. So I really, if I were to leave a legacy around, it would definitely be a legacy of community. So, the baker helps the candlestick maker, and the candlestick maker helps the butcher, and the butcher comes back to help the baker again. So that importance of community is something that I feel that I've benefited a lot from, and it's something that I want to help people to understand the importance of. And if that's my mark to the world, hopefully I do it well. Just the importance of community, and the importance of just kind of creates understanding a vision, seeing something in your head and being able to go for it, but collectively. That's very important.
I appreciate that, but I think in the greater sense, isn't South Africa a community? Or we're not responsible to this beautiful country that we have. Jeffrey, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to get your details. I'll definitely want to get hold of you. There's a couple of ideas, and I'm busy with a new project that I think I want to throw at you. And
thank you. I'm interested.
Yeah.
Sounds exciting.
Thank you very much. Thank you, David.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much, Russell. Fantastic questions. And I must say, we're going a little bit over time. So if that's okay, we'll just try and wrap up as quickly as we can. The one question I have for you, Jeffrey, is there, travelers, the big idea of going overseas, flying overseas and actually going to a new destination. What is your advice to travelers generally? What do they need to look at, if they're going to be planning a trip? What would you give? What advice would you give them?
Look, a lot of people underestimate the importance of planning when it comes to travel. That is something that I cannot reiterate enough. You're not gonna buy a whim, go to Paris tomorrow morning. Or you're not gonna buy a whim, go on a safari in the Serengeti and hope to see the Great Migration. You have to know when the best season is. You have to know when it would be cost effective to go and when you can get a good deal. Normally with travel, the further in advance you plan, the better your rates are. And just the importance of knowing how your itinerary will be when you get there. I mean, life does happen. You can party the first night that you're there and not go to your game drive because you're hungover. But just that aspect of knowing what I'm gonna do when I get there and planning that we as travel agents, we communicate the importance of planning quite thoroughly. That's why we look at your passport when you come into the office. Is it still valid? Maybe you need to go to Home Affairs and get a new passport. That's something that a lot of people might overlook. The destination that you're going, does it require a visa? Are you going in the best season? I mean, someone can say they want to have a fantastic Greek holiday island hopping adventure, but they want to do it in December, which is a horrible time to go to Greece and a horrible time to island hop because the Greek islands are closed in December. It's winter. So we cannot overemphasize the importance of planning to people that are new to travel. And I think people that are a little bit more seasoned and are experienced travelers do have a little bit of that insight. And we just help them kind of map out their days and map out the best routes to get to a specific destination and central accommodation. I mean, if you're catching an Uber in London, it'll be like 700 Rand for a one-way to a place that's like 30 minutes away, where in South Africa, that'll be like 150 bucks. So then we would be able to communicate and say, no, rather get a Oyster card and then you can use the tube. It'll be much cheaper. And, just understanding that whole dynamic of what happens once you've landed in your destination.
Oh, yes. You know, you're absolutely right in that. And I've done a bit of traveling myself, and it's always so important just to know exactly. And I think that's where a travel agency comes in, you know, to be able to go and sit with somebody and actually be able to talk about your needs. And they are able to then package a deal specifically to those needs. Whereas if you try and do it on the internet, it's always a big question, you know, am I going to actually find that you know, that accommodation there, or is it just something fictitious, etc.? Tell us a little bit about the eSIM, your new product, the one eSIM, and what you're going to do with that, and how you're going to market it, and how you're going to get it out there, Jeffrey.
So the idea of the eSIM right now is to offer it as a promotional item for all the people that are coming in to book with us international trips for the month of June. So if you're planning an international trip and you booked with Seamless Travel for the month of June, the idea is to give an eSIM and the first gigabyte of data for free. So if you're landing in London or you're landing in New York, just know that your first gig of data will be on us, completely complimentary. You don't have to take out a buck for that. But it'll be an eSIM that you'll have for the rest of your life. Whenever you need to go anywhere in the world, you'll be able to just preload data on that again. And that is our communication and kind of our contribution to say, to this, that's our way of communicating the importance of staying connected while you're traveling, or to rather emphasize how easy it is to stay connected while you're traveling. So that is something that we are doing at Seamless. So if you book a trip with us for the month of June, talk to us and you'll be connected when you get to your destination.
Fantastic. Wow, what a fantastic offer that is. So yeah, please get hold of Jeffrey. Jeffrey, how do people actually get hold of you? What is your website? How do, you know, if they want to book some travel, how do they get hold of you?
We've got some great specials for the month of June. Like I said, it's a big month for Europe. So if you haven't gotten your visa done, please go to our offices or reach out to us. You can go on our website. That's www.seamlesstravel.co.za. You can check us out on Facebook. We are on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Twitter, and on Instagram as well. So all of our specials are available on those platforms. And you should be able to reach out to us. You can inbox us. You can pop us a DM. You can go through our website and see some of the specials that we're running. And then you can select inquire, and it'll go out to one of our consultants. Our consultants are very quick on the ball. So immediately once you've popped in a message, you should be able to get a response that same day. And our consultants would be able to talk you through the various options that are available for what you plan on doing.
Fantastic, Jeffrey. Great. I'm going to go around the room quickly and ask each person what their biggest takeaway was. Please keep it short. We're basically nearly at the end of the hour. I'm going to start with Mana. What's your biggest takeaway from what Jeffrey has shared with us today?
Oh dear, curiosity. I need to know which is the best or most popular destination in Europe in June, if you can answer that. But the biggest takeaway is that your staff is your biggest asset, and I think we should treat our staff better than we treat our assets. Yeah, but if there's time at the end, which is the most popular destination in Europe in June?
Thank you,
I'm
Mana.
a woman. I need to know.
Let's go to Wilhelm. Wilhelm, what's your biggest takeaway from what Jeffrey shared with us today?
Well, I loved your energy and, of course, your vision. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you, Wilhelm.
Thank you, Wilhelm. Glenn, what was your biggest takeaway from what Jeffrey shared with us?
I think if I can put it as just take risks and go for it. But I'm gonna actually put something in the message box which really just explains what I've heard from Jeffrey. So I'll put that there for you. Thanks very much. Thanks, Jeffrey. Bless you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And what was your takeaway?
I think my biggest takeaway is I can see that Jeffrey's a man with heart, real heart. And you know what? I love people like that because they show us that it can be done. You know, we're not cold, calculative in business. We've got heart for what we do. We've got passion. But I think you've got a lot more heart than most people because of your community and your love of for the community. So yeah, I commend that. Definitely, that's my biggest takeaway. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Russell. I must say what I was so interested in is how you use AI. That was very, very interesting to me. But the biggest thing from me, and the first time that we met there by Four Nose, was your energy. I love your energy. I love the way that you actually are. You do have that heart, and I wish you all the best of luck in what you're doing. And we are, as One Eastern Africa, are here to support you in your business, and we wish you all the best of luck in what you're doing. And Jeffrey, thank you so much for your time. It's been a fantastic event. I've learned a lot from you. And, you know, a lot of young people in South Africa need to realize that there is opportunity. And it's just about, you know, and, you know, my mom, one of the things that you said earlier, you know, go and do it. My mom always used to say that to me, just go and do it, go and do it. It was always like that. I think that's why I'm like I am now, because I wasn't going to do it. Jeffrey, what is your biggest takeaway, and what is your message to the listeners and to the people that will listen to this in the future?
Look, my biggest takeaway is the importance of exposure. I think everyone here is in their own business, and they understand the importance of exposure and being able to tap into different environments and different markets and meet with various people. The importance of networking also is highlighted in our conversation. My biggest takeaway would also be the importance of conversation, because we don't always have these conversations. We are sometimes so deep into our businesses and what we do that we don't always take the time to talk and share our experiences, because I might have gone through an experience that was very painful for me or very difficult for me to overcome. And just conversations like this would have helped me avoid that kind of situation. So the importance of conversation, I think, is my biggest takeaway from this. And definitely the idea of going out and going to do it is something that we just sometimes don't stress enough. We just have to go out and do it and take the opportunity and grow as much as possible. And learning from failure. Oh, we must learn from failure. Russell's question hit me hard there.
No, thank you very much, Jeffrey. We'll be back next week. We've got a very interesting person talking about education. It's in our Innovative Solutions series. And we're going to be talking about how we're going to turn the tables of education from being teacher-centric to being brain-centric. So come and listen to that. It's going to be very interesting. So that'll be great. And the week after that, we're going to be talking about why we should use someone else's finances rather than our own. So come and listen to that. That's also going to be a really, really great session. So thanks to all of you for being here today. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Please stay on. We're going to just end this with a quick video, and then please stay on. And thanks to the listeners for being here, because without you, it would not be anything, but with you being here and being able to listen to this. It's recorded on YouTube as well as on Facebook and LinkedIn. So go and listen back if you want to listen to something that you might have missed, and please share with others who may learn from this experience. Thank you all. Take care and have a fantastic week. Cheerio.
Thank you.
Picture this. It's the dawn of 2025 and you're poised for success. Why? Because you've established your why. This isn't just a whim or a hobby. It's the passion that propels you forward, the core of your ambition. Next, you assess your current position. Where do you stand? What are your strengths, your weaknesses? Honesty is key here. Now envisage your destination. What do you want to achieve by the end of this year? Set those goals. Make them smart, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound. With your destination locked, it's time to map out your plan. Break down your goals into manageable steps, then start stepping. Remember, action without reflection is aimless. Record your results, analyze your performance, and adjust your plan accordingly. The path to success in 2025 isn't a sprint, it's a marathon. Take meaningful action, keep your eye on the prize, and continually strive for improvement. Here's to a successful 2025.